let's take a look at this warm-up. B is between A and C. AB is 1/2 BC, and AC is 36. Find AB. Let me go ahead and tell you what the most common mistake students make with this problem is. They take 36 and they divide it by 2. And that is not what this problem is saying, describing. So always draw a picture. B is between A and C. So we've got A, we've got C, and then put B somewhere between. But don't put it in the middle because we don't assume midpoint. That's one of the things we don't assume. AB is 1/2 BC. So here's what I do. AB is 1 out of 2. 1/2. It is 1 out of 2. So I assign AB a 1 and I assign BC a 2. AB is 1 part of the segment and BC is 2 parts of the segment. The whole segment is 36. So I'm not going to do 36 divided by 2. I'm going to do 36 divided by 3. Yep. So that's the most common mistake. They see the 1/2 and students just divide 36 by 2. Now, if that had said AB is 1/2 of AC, sure, you can divide it by 2, but that's not what it's saying. So you could kind of think of it like this. 1x plus 2x equals 36. 3x equals 36. X is 12. It said to find AB, so we've actually already found AB because one of the parts is 12. So this one's 12, and this one's 12 times 2. BC is 24, but they wanted AB, so AB is 12, and we get to move on with life. Okay? Good. Let's check your homework answers. Hopefully these are good today. There was one of them on yesterday's. There was a mistake y'all didn't find, but I found it later. It was on one of the binomial multiplying ones. But anyways, let me know if there's any mistakes on here so I can fix it. We're starting with number 8. Find the value of the variable. We are given BC, 2x squared. We're given AC. It is 64. Oh, and then we're told that AB equals BC. So by the definition of midpoint, we know that B is now a midpoint. You just got promoted, B. You're not just a point anymore. You're a midpoint. All right, so we have 2 choices here. We are given a half and we're given a whole. We are given a half and a whole. What we're not going to do is set them equal. I'm going to take the whole and I'm going to divide it by 2. That way I can set 2x squared equal to not 64, but 32. So that was my choice. Could I have doubled 2x squared? Sure, I could have doubled it. But I like working with smaller numbers, so if the whole is divisible by 2, I usually do that. Okay, so we need to solve for x, and ooh, you better be glad she asked this one because this is on your quiz today. Not the midpoint. Midpoint's not on your quiz, but solving for x is on your quiz. So are you ready for this? Are you watching? You need to divide by 2. X squared equals 16. And then here's where all the students miss half of their points. The opposite of squaring something is square rooting. X equals plus or minus 4. Or you can write x equals -4, comma, +4. There are 2 answers because it's x squared. 2 answers. Okay, the next one is number 9. Number 9, FE is 2x, EC is x squared, and FC, is 24. We want to find the value of x. This is not a midpoint problem. This is a segment addition problem. We know segment addition, part plus part equals whole. That's a quadratic. That's a quadratic that has to be factored. 8 was a quadratic that didn't have to be factored. This one has to be factored because it has a middle term. Don't factor until you've brought everything to one side. So x squared plus 2x minus 24 equals 0. I'm going to do this quickly. We know that x and x go here. I need to make a 2. I need to make a 2, and I get to use the factors of 24. Can I make a 2 out of a 12 and a 2? No. Can I make a 2 out of an 8 and a 3? No. Can I make a 2 out of a 6 and a 4? Ding, ding, ding. So you put a 6 and a 4 in there. Now you figure out their signs. I want it to be a positive 2. So do I want the 6 to be negative or the 4 to be negative? I want the bigger one to be positive because I want it to be positive. That is not the answer. Don't type that in the answer blank. That is not x. You need to solve for x. In other words, what value of x forces that to be 0? So you subtract 6 from both sides, and you get x is negative 6. And you add 4 to both sides, and you get x is 4. So 2 answers. Oh, now, we did not talk about this yesterday. You can't keep both of those answers because we don't have negative lengths. There's no such thing as a negative length. So 4, this answer's fine, but negative 6, if I plug that in right there, that would mean FE equals negative 12. We can't have a negative length. So even though x really does equal negative 6, it is not a valid answer. It's not a valid answer, so we throw it out and we don't write it as one of our answers. So x just equals 4, and that's it. Number 12 says, do not assume S is the midpoint. Use the segment addition, it's a postulate, it says theorem, first, and then check the length of PS and SQ to see if S is the midpoint. So it's like you're innocent until proven guilty. He's not the midpoint yet unless we have proof that he's the midpoint. So you're not going to set PS equal to SQ. That's what you're not going to do. So you're going to do part plus part equals whole. PQ is the whole. Man, these got messed up, didn't they? Sorry about that. All right, PQ is the whole, PS is one of the parts, and SQ is one of the parts. So I'm going to do part plus part equals whole. So we have 10B minus 4 equals 36. 10B equals 40. B equals 4. So now we're going to plug B in to the two parts, the two things that have the P over it. If we get the same thing both sides, on both sides of that point, then it really is a midpoint. So this is us. This is like we're the attorney and we're presenting the evidence. We're trying to get it proved guilty of being a midpoint. All right, so 4 times 4 plus 2. That's 18. 6 times 4 minus 6. That's 18. 18 equals 18, so yes, S is the midpoint of PQ. Okay, I'm curious. How did you draw your picture on this one? I'm guessing most people, when A, B, and C are collinear, when you read that, you just put them in that order, right? A, B, C. And then you labeled your picture. AC is 126, and BC is 84. So this problem turned into a what problem? Division, multiplication, addition, subtraction. Oh, you're too smart. This one is a subtraction problem. Very good. What's 126 minus 84? But the thing is that the directions did not say you had to put them in that order. Ugh, y'all are just too good. So there are two answers. You're right. As a math student, you need to think about all of the possibilities that could work with a given description. There's more than one possibility. So, yeah, too smart. I'm just going to start over. You could have put B, and then C, and then A. AC is 126, and BC is 84. Now this is not a subtraction problem. To find AB, this is an addition problem. So AB does equal two things. So that was a tricky problem, and you had to know that you needed to consider all the possibilities. Good job, team. Try this one. At the Berry Center, 3 football fans have seats W, D, and G that are collinear. Seat D is 38 feet to the left of seat W, and seat G is 22 feet to the right of seat D. Which seat is between the other two? What I recommend is start with a point. I would start with point W. So I would start with point W. I just put a point on my paper and call it W. Seat D is 38 feet to the left of seat W. So I'm going to go to the left, and I'm going to go 38 feet to the left. And that would be D. So check, I did that one. Seat G is 22 feet to the right of seat D. So I need to go this way, and I need to go 22. So am I going to go past W, or am I going to land before W? Common sense, right? Tells us I'm going to land before W. So G is going to end me up here. I'm going to end up here. Which seat is between the other two? Well, that's easy now. G. I want you to find the length of GW. Find the length of GW. It's a subtraction problem again. Very good. 16. This one does not have multiple possibilities. This one, that's the only answer. Okay, last problem. This one was on your homework. It's going to be on your homework again tonight. So I wanted you to know what to do when you see this ratio thing. And it's so much easier than you think. Point R and S divide QT in the ratio of 6 to 5 to 3. 6 to 5 to 3. It's a ratio. 6 parts to 5 parts to 3 parts. QT is 42. Find QR and RT. Now, does QR equal 6? No. That's just its ratio. So I always attach an X to these to remind myself that's not the length, that's the ratio. But now that we've labeled them all and put an X there, this is just a segment addition problem. 6X plus 5X plus 3X equals 42. So what is that, 14? X equals 3, that's kind of like our common factor kind of thing, yeah? So then we just take 3 and we just plug it in. So from Q to R, it's 18. From R to S, it's 15. And from S to T, it's 9. I just multiplied 6 times 3, 5 times 3, 3 times 3. This is a great problem because you can check your answer right away. 18 plus 15 plus 9, does it equal 42? It does. So we did it right. So QR is 18 and RT is 24.